The Houston Texans finally did it. Shaq couldn't hack it, so they had to hack Shaq off of the salary cap. We'll talk all about it here on the channel. Welcome into the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans. Let's talk about life after Shaq Mason as the Houston Texans are set to release their starting right guard. Aaron Wilson, the first to report it, but Shaq Mason, after a very, very disappointing 2024 season, is going to hit free agency. It was not a good season for Mason. He, of course, came over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a trade before the 2023 season. The Houston Texans extended Mason. He was a really solid player in 2023. I feel like that gets lost in the shuffle of how bad 2024 was. He was one of probably the 20 best guards in football in 2023, a very serviceable player, but in 2024, he dropped off. He looked slow. He looked lost in the offense that the Texans were running. He allowed some of the most pressures in all of football. He allowed some of the most sacks in all of football. He was a huge issue along the offensive line, one of the biggest issues on the Houston Texans offensive line. And they're going to designate him as a post-June 1st cut. Jonathan Alexander, the first to report that. And here's what that means for the Texans. The Texans save $9 million after June 1st. So no salary cap change with Mason. He's free to go sign with another team whenever the release becomes official, but no processing of it and salary cap relief until post June 1st. That designation allows the team to spread out the cap hit, the dead money, over a couple of seasons. And if I have that incorrect, Texans cap, I'm sure, will correct me on that. But $9 million after June 1st, that's prime Derek Stingley contract extension territory. So the Texans can use that money towards contract extensions and adjustments in the summer. You don't have to worry about it here for free agency, unfortunately. But let's talk about the offensive line and where it went wrong here and what life after Mason looks like. We'll get to your comments, questions, joys, and concerns as well. This dream offensive line was bad. The Houston Texans exited the 2023 NFL draft with a dream offensive line. It was Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. It was Kenyon Green at left guard. It was Juice Scruggs at center. It was Shaq Mason at right guard. And it was Titus Howard at right tackle. Now, they never got to put that team on the field in 2023 because Kenyon Green got hurt. Juice Scruggs got hurt. Titus Howard never even played right tackle that season, but they got to put that group on the field in 2024. And there were high expectations for that group. There should have been. That's all the investment that it's taken to get Laramie Tunsil on top of two highest offensive tackle in football contracts for Laramie Tunsil. That's a first-round pick in Kenyon Green. It's a second-round pick in Juice Scruggs. It's a trade and one of the highest paid guards in football at right guard, and it's a first-round pick on a, what at the time we all deemed was unnecessary and still is unnecessary, contract extension. There should have been high expectations for that offensive line. And that dream offensive line in 2024, it sucked. It wasn't a good offensive line. It was actually really bad. It started at left guard with Kenyon Green. He was awful. And then Shaq Mason, as soon as Green was out and they started moving some things around, Shaq Mason was bad. Not to mention, Juice Scruggs wasn't very good at center or left guard when he played that. He ironically played his best football at right guard, but they benched him in the playoffs against the Kansas City Chiefs for some inexplicable reason to put a guy like Shaq Mason, who'd been out for a month with a knee injury, right back in the starting lineup. And what did Shaq Mason do? Shaq Mason went in there and stunk the joint up in the playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So it makes it even crazier that they're moving on from Shaq Mason here, what, a month, a little or 2 months, a little under 2 months, when they reinserted him back into the offensive line. That was a poor move at the time. We all talked about it pregame, how it was a poor move, and it turned out to be a poor move in the game, and ultimately Shaq Mason's no longer with this team. This dream offensive line that Nick Caserio, primarily without D'Amico Ryans, but certainly with D'Amico Ryans' input, assembled, it stinks. And they have to go about fixing things now on this offensive line because the dream offensive line, no good. No good. So They've got to go about fixing it. And the irony of fixing this is the person who put it in this position, they gave Laramie Tunsil all that money, which is a good job. The Laramie Tunsil thing, what else could you do? But drafted Kenyon Green, signed Shaq Mason to an extension after trading for him, drafted Juice Scruggs, signed Titus Howard to an unnecessary extension. That guy, Nick Caserio, now has to fix the offensive line. He's got to go about fixing it. So let's get to some of your comments. We'll talk about the current guards on the roster, how there's not really a solution there. We'll talk about free agent options. We will talk about draft options as well. Appreciate everybody jumping in here on a Friday afternoon. Hope the week has been fantastic for you, and hope you're having a great Friday. Albert asked Cody, why wouldn't they have traded him instead? He's an unplayable football player. He's not good at football. That's why they couldn't trade him, and a team that trades for him takes on that big contract. No team's doing that. So why couldn't they have traded him? Nobody wanted Shaq Mason. You're seeing it today. Teams that said, hey, this guy's available, and then no one traded for him, they cut him. Okay. So you couldn't trade Shaq Mason because he's not a good football player anymore. Now, could Shaq Mason go out there and get in better shape and come back and be a serviceable player? Sure, but not here in Houston. And it's telling as well on Shaq Mason that Cole Popovich and Nick Caley, both who were with Shaq Mason in New England, they know what peak Shaq Mason looks like, can be like. They're part of the crew that gave up on Shaq Mason, that decided to move on from Shaq Mason. Nick Caley, the new offensive coordinator, Cole Popovich, the new offensive line coach, both were with Mason in New England, and they both decided he was beyond hope. He was unsalvageable. That's also a notable element to this as well. Diablo asked, they save any cap space? So the savings don't happen until after June 1st because of the June 1st designation. Good to see you, Panda. Patrick, a new member. Appreciate you. We also had Sam join up as a new member. Appreciate you. Memberships are available. There's a join button. There's a link in the description down below. 3 levels to choose from. Certainly appreciate your support. Lots of perks for the memberships. Texans Cap, always a good follow around this time. Check out his salary cap series on his channel, Cap and Trade. Does a really good job explaining a lot of the intricacies and details that are hard for me to relay in layman's terms. He does a really good job. So check out his series. I think it's at this point 16 videos. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cap. All right. Good to see you, Bryce. Fifth Ward Texan says DK incoming. I don't know about that. Still a high price for DK Metcalf. That price comes down. Maybe they could do something with it. Jalen Johnson wants to give Juice a look at right guard and have him compete against whoever they're drafting or getting in free agency. Okay. Let's see here. It's just Sway wants a first-round offensive lineman. Wasn't it better to release after June 1st? Yes, you save more money that way. You save $9 million. You throw that after June 1st, you get that. So that's a big positive. And you can then utilize that for contract extensions over the summer and adjustments, or, maybe there's a free agent sitting around right there, right around the start of training camp that you want to go and get. So, all right, let's talk a little about the players that are on the roster that are guards and if there's solutions. And if not, we can go to free agency. We can go to the draft and talk about it. Plus, it's Friday. There will be a food review today. Food Review Friday. We'll bring you the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Orange Cream. That will happen today right here on the channel as well. Current guards on the roster with the exclusion of Shaq Mason as he's set to be released. Kind of Titus Howard because the team's not quite made it clear if he's going to be a left guard or a right tackle. Now, when I asked Titus Howard at cleanout day, hey, are you still a right tackle? How are you preparing this offseason? He said, look, I'm preparing with however the team needs to use me. So Titus Howard has not been shy about saying he's a right tackle. I gave him that opportunity. He did not say that. So I would say kind of Titus Howard. He's maybe an option at left guard. I'd say kind of Juice Scruggs. Now, Nick Caserio sat there towards the back end of the season during the bye week. He said Juice Scruggs is a better center than he is guard. He's a far better center than he is guard. They had to play him at guard because of injuries and issues and things like that. And ultimately, he was okay at all 3 positions that he played. on the interior offensive line. I say kind of Juice Scruggs because if the general manager is going to sit up there and going to tell us he's a better guard than he is center, then he's got a shot to be the center. Or he's a better center than he is guard, then he's got a shot to be the center for this team. He'll fight it out with Jaret Patterson, I would assume. Kenyon Green, I don't know that any of us want to see Kenyon Green back out there. It hasn't worked for Kenyon Green. Injuries drastically affected the first 2 years. He wasn't good here in the third year. And on his fourth year in the NFL, he should probably be playing for another football team. Go find another team's Kenyon Green-esque player, a disappointing player that hasn't lived up to it, and swap. Give them Kenyon Green. You take the disappointing player. Maybe they do something with Green. Maybe you do something with their player, but I don't believe any of us want to watch Kenyon Green play guard for the Houston Texans. Nick Broker is on this team. Broker was claimed off of waivers before the 2023 season. He spent the entire 2023 and 2024 season on the roster. Broker's played tackle and guard in training camp, so he's got a little right side versatility. I don't know that he's got an opportunity to start at right guard. He certainly could factor in training camp if there's a battle at right guard, but Nick Broker hasn't been an option for them when they've needed guards, so I can't imagine that Nick Broker stays an option unless something drastically is different about Nick Broker in year 3 versus years 1 and 2 with the Houston Texans. And then there's Ladarius Henderson. Ladarius Henderson was a 6th-round pick by the Texans out of Michigan. He played tackle before he played at, I think it was Arizona or Arizona State, then went to Michigan. He played tackle, but Nick Caserio made it very clear Ladarius Henderson is a guard. Just like he made it very clear that Blake Fisher is a tackle, Ladarius Henderson is a guard. Henderson was on the non-football injury list before the season started last year. He was not active, didn't play at all, so he's basically a rookie, a 6th-round rookie at that. Those are the options on the team right now at guard. Do you feel good about any of those? I want to see the comment sections. Anybody feel good about those? J-Dog wants a draft pick. Jose wants to see what Nick Broker brings to the table. So, I mean, I don't know. Any of us want to see any of these guards. Nope, no, and no. Yeah. So, I mean, I would tell you of these players, the most likely player is Titus Howard at left guard and playing left guard like he did towards the back end of the season. That's among the most likely options. That at least gives you a left guard option. Juice Scruggs is a backup left guard option. If Kenyon Green's still on the team, he's a backup option, but if you don't feel comfortable putting the backup on the field, is he really a backup option? Nick Broker's a backup option. Ladarius Henderson's a backup option. But if Titus Howard's your left guard, let's say Scruggs and Patterson battle it out for center, you still need a starting right guard. And that brings us to free agency. The free agent market has options, and there's lots of different options in free agency. There's lots of different players in different ways and different price points that you can go in free agency. Now, we've talked on this channel before about Trey Smith, the guard from the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, he got franchise tagged. He's not an option. The other day on SNL, we talked about Alex Kappa, who was really bad with the Bengals this past year. He's already got a new team. He signed up with the Las Vegas Raiders. But there's still names out there. Just kind of show you what the free agency list looks like. Here are a couple of the names. Obviously, Zach Martin is not a name because he's going to retire. But Brandon Sheriff, we've talked about him on the channel from the Jacksonville Jaguars. James Daniels played a little bit for the Steelers. Kevin Zeitler is a veteran name. He played for the Lions last year after 3 years with the Baltimore Ravens. Zeitler's an old player, 34 years old, but Zeitler's still very good and has been very consistent in his career. I'd be interested in a Kevin Zeitler situation for 1 year, maybe 2, and drafting a guard in the middle rounds to then play into Zeitler's position. Will Hernandez from the Cardinals. He's a guy that's an intriguing option. I would also tell you from that standpoint, he's coming off of a season-ending injury. Looking at some of these other names, Mark Glowinski is a sort of a backup rotational guy, but you could think about that. Matt Sharping, no thank you. The big name that a lot of people are going to bring up is Will Fries right here. Will Fries from the Indianapolis Colts. Put the fries in the bag, bro. I saw somebody say that. Where'd they go? Yeah, Ty said it. Put the Will Fries in the bag, bro. Yeah, look, Will Fries is an intriguing player. Fries was a 7th-round pick out of Penn State, and he was pretty darn good eventually once he finally got started. Will Fries. Let me make sure I write it correctly. So that's the top of the free agent market, really, Will Fries. And Fries, again, 7th-round pick from Penn State, on the roster for the Colts for about a year and a half. Back into 2022, he starts. He's pretty okay. He starts all of 2023. He's okay. He starts in 2024. He's one of the best linemen in football in the first 5 weeks of the season. Okay, Will Fries, one of the best linemen in all of football through the first 5 weeks of the 2024 season, broke his leg. Season over. And now he's hitting free agency coming off the broken leg, which isn't a super serious situation like a ACL or MCL or PCL, stuff like that. But broke his leg coming off of the broken leg, hitting free agency. And this is a guy that could make $14 million a year, $15 million a year, $16 million a year. Fries is going to be expensive. This is not drive-through at the clown mouth French fries. This is really expensive. I can't believe they cost that much. What's that weird smell? Oh my God, these are truffle fries, steakhouse fries. That's what Will Fries is. He's expensive. You're wondering, how can a potato be this expensive at the steakhouse? That's what Will Fries is. A guy that's had some really good football, but for the most part has been a solid player. Now, are you paying a solid player $15, $16, $17 million per year when you're just betting on potential of a 27-year-old? I mean, I wouldn't do that. Will Fries doesn't really feel like an investment that I would make if I was the Texans, especially when you've got to go and find more wide receivers. You've got to find depth at basically every defensive position, not to mention starters at defensive tackle. You've got to go out there and shore up other positions on the offensive line. Who's the swing tackle for this team? So I guess Austin Deculus can do it, but do you want Austin Deculus to be the swing tackle? Like, there's a lot that they have to do. Spending $16 million, $17 million bucks a year on Will Fries, I don't know if that's a worthwhile investment, So I don't know if that's where you want to spend your money. And again, you look at these guards, and do any of these names really jump off the page to you? Are any of these guys excellent, guaranteed to be good players? Like, I suppose Zeitler is kind of that guy. He's 34 years old, about to be 35. Like, he's going to be an old football player. What if his body breaks down in the middle of the season? Do you have a plan ready? Brandon Sheriff, he's an older player. And he was just okay for the Jaguars. Not to mention he tried to fight Azeez Al-Shire. Do they bury the hatchet there? They'd be one great tag team if that's the case. Look, Will Fries, I also feel like he's getting a couple extra bucks because his name's fun. His name fun. Sean G says, not off the broken leg. I'd rather go Zeitler. Matthew Green says, duck fat over truffle fries. Okay. All right. Esco's a new member. Appreciate you, Esco. Thank you for joining up. Yeah, both those players are older than Shaq Mason, Brandon Sheriff, as well as Kevin Zeitler. So maybe you want to get younger. Maybe you want to go with a guard. Now, am I super comfortable turning over the starting right guard spot to a rookie? No, I'm not super comfortable, but that may be one of your better options, or at the very least, bring in a mid-level veteran and then have the rookie in there to push him and maybe be ready at the end of the year. But the draft has options. And, depending on where you like to look or depending on where you like to go, let's pull up Pro Football Focus's draft rankings. They got Tyler Booker from Alabama. Booker is prototype Houston Texan. He's the Will Anderson of the offense, is what Alabama people told Daniel Jeremiah. He was a leader. He talked about how Will Anderson taught him how to be a leader when they were together for a year at Alabama. He was a captain for the Crimson Tide. He was dominant at guard for Alabama. He's not a great athlete. He is not a great athlete. But if you don't run super athlete stuff, if you don't need the guy to be an athlete, you need him just be a mauler there at the guard position, then be my guest. Go with Tyler Booker. That's a guy I'd be comfortable plugging and playing day one at right guard. I'm comfortable with Tyler Booker. It's not the most comfortable situation, but I'm comfortable with Booker. Here's another name for you to consider. Tate Ratledge. He's a little bit older than Booker. He's played a lot of guard for Georgia. 2 national championships. Captain for the Georgia Bulldogs. Now this guy, he's a freaky athlete. He was super athletic at the combine. He's not as mauler as Booker, but he's still mean as hell. He's still a guy that can go in there and attack you and make things happen along the offensive line. So Ratledge is a guy that not as high of an investment as Booker, not as clean of a profile as a football player as Booker. So there's a little bit of a trade-off. But Ratledge, Booker, and then I want to pull up a couple of these other names. Here's a thing that's benefiting the Texans a little bit in this upcoming class. A lot of these tackles are going to end up playing guard at the NFL level. They played tackle in college, but they're going to end up playing guard. Now, Texans likely won't get a shot at Will Campbell or Armand Mimbu. Josh Simmons is coming off of a serious knee injury, so I wouldn't draft him if I was the Texans. But Kelvin Banks Jr., 3-year starter at Texas at left tackle, got the position, locked the position down, really good, could play guard for you initially, and then could bump out the tackle when Titus Howard is gone, if Blake Fisher doesn't work out, or if Laramie Tunsil leaves in the next couple of years. So Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas, that's a guard opportunity. Now, Booker, who we talked about, that'd be a first-round pick. Banks, who we're talking about now, that'd be a first-round pick. Here's another guy that's going to be a first-round pick. How about Gray Zabel? Gray Zabel from North Dakota State University, smaller school guy, went to the Senior Bowl, beat up on a bunch of people, was really good at what he did at the Senior Bowl, and tested well at the Combine, can play all 3 interior positions, left guard, right guard, and center. And again, probably a first-round investment to get a guy like Gray Zabel. So that's an option for you in the draft. Josh Connerly Jr., a lot of people believe he's going to bump inside from Oregon, going to play guard. Had a little bit of an up and down Senior Bowl, not as impressive as some of the other guys, but decent enough player. Maybe, I know he's PFF ranked 34, maybe slips into the second round, and you can make an investment there. Irsay from Minnesota, again, a tackle that could play a guard. You catching up here? Donovan Jackson, played tackle at Ohio State, but also played guard at Ohio State. I like Donovan Jackson. I really enjoy what he brings to the table as a prospect, and he should be available when the Houston Texans are picking in the second round. This is a guy, again, plop him in there on the interior, let him go to work day one, and just have some confidence that he's going to get the job done. Cameron Williams and Ozzie Trapillo, those guys are both traditional tackles. They're not bumping inside. Marcus Bowe, he's a guy, could bump inside. Jonah Salvadaya, he's a guy, played tackle at Arizona, also played guard. He could bump inside. Do you get my drift here? There's going to be options in the NFL draft. Now, how many different things do you need to grab in the NFL draft? I don't know. We'll see how free agency affects things. They go and make a big investment at right guard in free agency, or a significant player is the right guard coming out of free agency. Maybe they can wait on one of these offensive linemen. You go a little bit later. You go third round. You go fourth round with that offensive lineman. If you move back, maybe you move one of those move back picks, use one of those move back picks on an offensive line. There's options, but they've clearly got to add to the offensive line room, and they may even need to add multiple players. Titus Howard has an injury history. Jarrett Patterson's been hurt a couple of different times. Drew Scruggs has been hurt when he's played. If they add Zeitler as the right guard, man, Zeitler's an older player. He could get hurt. And then somebody that could play backup tackle. I guess Austin Deculus is your swing tackle right now, but if you had a young guy that had a little flexibility inside, outside, that wouldn't be the worst thing. So the draft has options for you as well. Let's get to your comments, questions, joys, and concerns. We'll answer some of your questions, get to your comments. We've also got the Food Review Friday of the Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Orange Cream coming your way here in just a memento. The folks like the Nick Caserio emoji. I like that. We'll add some more emojis here in the coming days. Albert likes Zabel at 25, Tate in the 3rd. So he wants 2 offensive linemen in this upcoming draft. Mike Roberts bringing a vet and Tate Ratledge from Georgia. Competition at both guard spots. Money be damned. Hey, Mike might be onto something. You get a guy that comes into camp, pushes Titus Howard at left guard. Next thing you know, you can send Titus Howard out for a late round draft pick to another team, and then you feel maybe a little bit better about your guard situation. Esco's a big fan of Booker. Sean G, you cannot go into the season bringing back most of the O-line from last year. New personnel is needed at least at 1 position, but I'd like to see 2. Hey, look, if they like a center in free agency or they like a center in the draft, be my guest. Be my guest. Derek says all signs point to the Texans going guard with that first pick. Yeah, there's some depth at guard, but I wonder if the right trade back presented itself, if they'd move back for him. JB, good to see you, man. Didn't see the notification. Long-time subscriber. New member here. Thank you, JB. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Yeah, Banks is the real deal, man. He is awesome. He does barbecue food reviews, which is a big positive in my book. Yeah, he's a unit, as somebody put. Gage likes Josh Daniels as a low-price veteran. Blue Boy. Sheriff. He said Kappa. Kappa's already signed, though, Blue Boy. He likes Zeitler. He likes Daniels. David's trying to get rid of depth at pass rusher. I'd trade or cut Autry, make Jonathan Allen a possibility. Autry's old, not going to be worth what his contract has him making. I mean, we don't know. We got to see very little of Danico Autry. It took him a long time to get going, had a knee injury when he finally did get going. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to see a full year of Danico Autry before they make any sort of decisions on him. So I'd be surprised if he's not on the team. Yeah, we did a mock draft last night, and the Raiders gave us their draft for our first-round pick, so that was a lot of fun. Tunsil's contract makes him untradeable. I mean, at the end of this year, it becomes easy to trade him. So if you had a succession plan in place, like say Kelvin Banks Jr., you could move him next offseason and get something significant for him. Now the next team's going to have to pay a bunch of money to him because he'll be in the final year of his contract. But now I don't see a plan to get a left tackle that's useful enough that you'd move on from Laramie. So I can't see them moving on from Laramie anytime soon. Traden wants them to go get Jonathan Allen, who's a defensive tackle from the Commanders who got released today, and draft Nick Manawari from South Carolina who plays safety. That would complete the defensive starters when Petrie returns. Yeah, I mean, they'd be rolling if that was the crew. If they could get both those guys. I don't know where Allen's going to end up, and I don't know how much it's going to be to get Allen. He's still a productive player, so I can't imagine he's signing some sort of just like small money deal. Howard needs to restructure to okay guard pay. Yeah, paying him at his current rate, he's a very expensive guard. That's, I think the jury's still out on if he's any good. I can't tell you for sure he's going to be good at guard. Maybe an off season of training for the position, getting ready for it changes it. But Eric says, what's the cap hit for Shaq? They saved $9 million after June 1st. After June 1st. Luis says, why can't we draft centers? I mean, I don't know if he's saying why can't they ever pick a good center in the draft, or if they couldn't draft a center in this draft. You certainly could draft a center in this draft if you wanted. I would say that Patterson being okay has helped lessen the sting of Scruggs not being very good. That's certainly an unexpected flip. I would tell you Jared Patterson's had a better NFL career to this point than Juice Scruggs. So it's been an unexpected flip from both of those guys being drafted in the same draft class. I don't know why they extended Jimmy Ward. I don't know either. Glenn really wants Walter Nolan, the Ole Miss defensive tackle. I would tell you that it is highly unlikely they would draft Walter Nolan. It just doesn't seem like it's a fit for them. Albert says, we seem to forget about Dante Scarnecchia Jr. being our new O-line coach. So all the problems are just going to disappear. Yeah, I mean, They act like Cole Popovich is a big-time proven commodity along the offensive line, and he's going to help things a lot. And he very well might. I just don't know that I'm ready to put that amount of belief in Cole Popovich taking over as the offensive line coach. He, of course, was here last year as the offensive line was not very good. Bryce Bellows, thoughts on possibly making Stover the new Andrew Beck and then drafting our tight end of the future? I think Stover would kill at fullback. I also heard Cody, not Buddy. Yeah, that was from SNL the other day where Landry tried to say that Aaron Wilson buddied me. He did not. He said Cody. I would tell you Stover has potential at tight end. And at the end of this season, I would tell you the only tight end that I know for sure is going to be on the roster is Cade Stover. Dalton Schultz is probably getting released at the end of this upcoming season, and then Brevin Jordan's only got a 1-year contract. So I like to keep him at tight end. If they get another tight end and him and Stover are the future at tight end, I like that idea as well. But Bryce, appreciate the super chat. I don't know. Do we even know if Nick Caley cares about having a fullback? Are they going to try the British Brooks experiment again? I don't know what they're going to do with a fullback. They may not need one. They may not operate that way. I have to go look and see how many times the Rams used a fullback. Of course, Caley back in the day did coach fullbacks, so he would know what to do. Coach fullbacks in addition to offensive line. BG says Kenyon Green's next. He's working on it right now. Yeah, I can't imagine Kenyon Green's going to stay. Jordan says, what about defensive tackle TJ Sanders from let me make sure I have it right. He's from one of the Carolina schools. Get out of here, tackles. TJ Sanders. South Carolina, right? Yes, South Carolina. I like TJ Sanders. Pass rush presence from the interior, can do enough with the run game. I like TJ Sanders. Did they designate Shaq as a post-June 1st cut? Yes. Kenyon's rookie contract barely moves the needle, though. Yeah, there's not really much to it. You don't save anything if you release him. You save a small amount if you trade him. That's why I try to trade him for another team's Kenyon Green. Yeah, Tyler Linderbaum would have been awesome. Albert Breer says DK Metcalf wants to come to Houston. I saw Diana Rossini was on a podcast, and she said that she intimated that DK Metcalf wants to go somewhere warmer with a better quarterback situation. And so that would be Houston would qualify for that. Houston will qualify for that. So better quarterback situation, warmer, bing, bing, boom. Houston fits that. If DK Metcalf really wants to come to Houston, DK Metcalf needs to take a pay cut from what he's asking. If he's asking $30 million a year, that can't work in Houston. I'd pay DK Metcalf $25 a year, and I'd trade a third for him, but I'm not trading a first and a third and giving DK Metcalf $30 million. Derek says adjusting Titus's contract would be a net negative because he might open up a bigger can of quit. Yeah, maybe he really likes it in Houston. He knows he needs to play well to stay. Patrick Ding, I like fullbacks. Not quite.
I like tight ends.
Not quite that, but maybe we'll get Caley on the record. I like fullbacks. Berkeley Boss 97 wants Drew Dahlman, the Atlanta Falcons center in free agency. Would rather sign him than a guard, to be honest. Dahlman's been a solid player, but again, expensive. Top center on the market. Do you really want to make that investment? Zach likes Stover, thinks he's going to have a great season coming up. I do too, Zach. I think Stover's going to have a really nice season this upcoming year. He was a really good run blocker at times throughout the course of this season. The pass blocking's got to get better, and the receiving has to be better. And I would tell you that the receiving is going to be better as well. He's getting deeper into the position, learning how to play at the NFL level. You saved CJ's life by releasing him. More worth than money. I'm assuming that was about Kenyon Green. Aaron Wilson said the Texans looking back, bringing back Sheldon Rankins. Yeah, I could see where that might be a fit for them. I could see where that might work. Let's see here. DK to the Bucks. Well, that'd be freaky. That'd be real freaky. Mike Evans and DK Metcalf. That'd make Chris Godwin a for sure free agent, unless they just have a bazillion dollars I didn't know about. Trade Schultz. I mean, who's trading for him? What are you getting for him? I don't know. I do have some faith Nick Caley can do something with Dalton Schultz. That'd be my hope. What do you think about Patrick McCarry? McCarry played for the Baltimore Ravens this past season, and I'd be a liar if I told you I knew a lot about what McCarry was bringing to the table, but I can certainly do a little bit of a searching for you here and see what the old Pro Football Focus says about him. All right, so McCarry played a little right tackle and a little left guard for the Ravens this past season. And had some decent numbers, a little bit better pass blocker than run blocker. That might be a positive for him. You know, he's been around the block a little bit, primarily in Baltimore. I feel like if the Ravens move on from a guy like that, like it almost kind of tells me you shouldn't sign him. I don't know. I'm not sure. SNL doing something for the draft? Absolutely. I would tell you the plan is probably a Thursday night party and a Friday night party and maybe even a Saturday party. So we're going to do something to be determined where, but the win is Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We got some big plans. We got some grandiose things that we want to execute. So we'll see what we can bring to the table here with SNL and the draft. Are you more comfortable with the roster going into free agency this year versus last year? Hell yeah. That defense is nasty. They're set at, I mean, they have a starter at every position except for defensive tackle. And, I mean, Kamari's awesome. He should only get better. Kalen Bullock's awesome. He should only get better. Stingley's going to get better. Will Anderson should be better. Danielle Hunter said he's going to be better in the second year in the system. I mean, I'm pumped about this team. I'm pumped. Louis O wants me to take a look at Lucas Patrick. Certainly. Take a look at him. Berkeley Boss 97 says Brian Broaddus. Broaddus is a former NFL guy who works up in Dallas now. I love his draft work. Landry knows him. I'm trying to get Landry to let me, to make an intro and then let me pick Broaddus's brain. He'll do it for me. And then I just, I'd probably bother Brian Broaddus too much. But he has Josh Simmons rated at close to Joe Alt. If he's at 25, I think it's a no-brainer. If he's coming off an ACL injury, I'd agree with you. He's coming off a patellar tendon tear. And players typically have a huge, huge downgrade in their skills when they have a patellar tendon tear. And so Simmons is undraftable to me. I can't draft a guy who's got that sort of a serious injury concern that he's got to come back from. Texans will have a watch party Thursday. Maybe we have competing watch parties. No, I wouldn't make you choose, but maybe we'll have competing watch parties. Maybe they'll invite us to their watch party. Excuse me. Cody, maybe off topic. What about Rico Dowdle as running back 2? He's going to be expensive. And I feel like you can get a younger, less expensive player. Okay, a couple of housekeeping things, and then let's do a Friday food review of the Coca-Cola Orange Cream Zero Sugar. Got the channel memberships. You've seen those pop up. If you've seen the custom emojis for the folks, the channel memberships are available. 3 different levels. Let's talk some Texans if they ain't Houston and Houston Football Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor comes with every month that you're subscribed at the Ring of Honor rate. You get a free month to Houston football, discounts on merchandise. If they ain't Houston, You get early access to new videos that are recorded. You'll get members-only videos. Not going to be a ton of those, but there will be some. Members-only live streams. Again, not going to be a ton, but will be some. And then let's talk some Texans. Hey, get you the loyalty badges, the emojis. We'll reply to your comments more often, hopefully, if I can remember it. And then members-only community posts and polls. We'll do polls on the community posts. We'll do polls there that will decide sometimes Food Review Friday. That will decide sometimes, hey, a free agent video. Hey, a draft player video. So be on the lookout for that. Members will get to vote on that. And, of course, your support is always appreciated. If you're a member or you're not a member, you can always gift memberships. They go randomly to people in the chat. So the support is fantastic, and it helps me be able to cover this team, and I appreciate everybody that does that. So I'm not going to hammer you over the head with memberships. You don't have to be a member to get everything here on the channel. Just another way to support the channel, and really appreciate everybody who has signed up already, who's considering signing up, and a hearty thank you to everybody. So, Food Review Friday. Let's see what the fine folks over at Coke have brought to the table here. Texan, all you have to do is type in, so the emoji names right now are Cal, Stroud, D'Amico, and Caserio. So you just type in to the into the chat. You just type in :Cal. Well, of course, they don't even let me do my own one. But yeah, there should be an emoji button. You can put Cal McNair in there. You can put Nick Caserio in there. That's going to be, I guess it's a Nick. D'Amico. Stroud. So you get those in there. Derek brings up a good point. Membership color should be battle red. That's a copyrighted name. So tough for me to take copyrighted names. That one's, I thought about that, Derek. I thought about that. Then I was like, I don't need to hear from a lawyer. We got a new member, Eric, signed up. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for the membership. Okay. Yeah, as Mike says, Lucid, if you're subscribed, there'll be a join. We're subscribed. Used to be. Also, there's a link in the description. There's a link in the description down below. Let's call it Rattle Bed. I'm trying to rattle beds, you know what I mean? Food Review Friday. Orange cream zero sugar from Coke. This is one of their new flavors. I don't know why sodas are getting into adding berries and fruits to their drinks, but they are. Dr. Pepper has a blackberry out right now. We'll try to chase that one down for you. I made the investment of a full 12-pack. So I really hope that this is good because I've got 11 other ones to drink or to give away to my neighbors if I don't like it. So I really hope this is good. I'm going to try to find a bottle of the blackberry Dr. Pepper. So we'll do that down the road, Food Review Friday. I'm also hoping over the next week or so, I really want to get out to the rodeo and review some stuff at the rodeo, some food at the rodeo. So I'm pretty pumped to get out there. And they got the crab rangoon egg rolls, which is speaking my language. So I want to get out there and review some rodeo food. So if you have rodeo food, tweet it to me or email it to me or leave it in the comment section and I'll try to remember it. And I want to do some rodeo food reviews. And my plan also is down the road to have all the food reviews from the past up in a playlist for members. So you can always go through those. It'll take me a while to go through and edit and cut all those up. But there will always be food reviews on the channel in the normal videos, and it's Food Review Friday. So here we go. Get a little crack. That's a good crack. That's a good crack. Now, if you're new to the food reviews go from 1 to 11. 11 is Tom Brady. It's the greatest of all time. 1 is shouldn't be on an NFL roster or shouldn't be on your food roster. Okay. Very orangey smell. Okay, very orangey smell. It is cold, Panda. It is cold. So very orange. I mean, it smells like a dreamsicle almost. Now remember, you got to give the grade after a sip and after a gulp because sometimes beverages interact differently. Okay. That was a sip. Let's get a little sip here. Another sip. I mean, it's not like, I guess I was hoping for a dreamsicle. It's not quite a dreamsicle. There's definitely some orange flavor to it. Let's get a big gulp here. Okay, not a gulper. Okay, this is a sipping soda. Don't gulp it. The flavor is different, and I don't like it. Okay, not my favorite. Not my favorite. It's not creamsicle. I was wanting creamsicle. It's not creamsicle. I was wanting creamsicle. It does have like and again, this is the zero sugar. So it probably has a little bit more vibrant flavors in a normal one. I like zero sugar sodas though. Trying to lose some weight. Of course, I'm also going to review 15 rodeo foods, so that's going to be quite the fun. I was on the treadmill when Shaq Mason got cut. I was like, do I get off the treadmill, go home? Do I finish? Come on. Okay, here's what I would say. If orange is your favorite flavor, or you like a cream soda, a root beer cream soda, or something like that, you're going to like this. You're going to enjoy this. It's going to be good flavor. Orange is not my favorite flavor to add to things. But I do love an orangey flavor, but I like when it's primarily orange. And this is not quite primarily orange. You still get a little Coke. But the orange cream is present. 1 to 11. 11 being the best Tom Brady of all time. 1 being not worth it. Don't even get close to it. I would tell you probably need to invest in like a bottle from the gas station before you invest in a 12-pack. Okay? I'm going to go, do I go 6.9 in honor of Shaq Mason? I'm going to go 6.6. 6.6. Not my most favorite that I've ever had. Not something that I would really like to have a lot. And now I got 11 of them sitting in the fridge. Go 6.6. If you like cream sodas, if you like A&W cream soda, if you like IBC, if you like creamed drinks, you're going to like this. And it's probably better non-zero. I just like the zero sugars. I tell you what, it's probably a pretty good hot day Coke because it's not that like heavy, syrupy Coke flavor. On a hot day, if you reach for a Coke and you get this, you won't be disappointed. Just not my favorite. I don't know that it has a lot of uses. Outside of, like, is this going to be good with vodka? Probably not. Or whiskey? No. Would it be good with whiskey? Probably not. So, 6.6 on the Coke Orange Cream Zero Sugar. Kicks rocks with the good rum. It probably will be good with rum. Everything's good with rum. Okay, let's get some of your comments here. Finish up the show. New member Joe Blue, appreciate you. Thank you, Joe. Ooh, Jose brings a good point. A float. It might be good in a float. A orange cream float. It might be good in a float. You're right about that. Let's see here. Let's get some of these comments. Quick question here. Quick comments. Joe Blue, the new Zero sugar is different. Yeah, for a one-off review, I probably should try both. I will attempt to get both next time. When we get the Dr. Peppers, I'll get a Dr. Pepper Zero blackberry and a regular blackberry. Or you can turn it upside down, shake it. Flavors mix a little better. That's the chips, Albert. You're not joking me. Coke Zero out of a can hits way harder out of a can versus the bottle. My favorite Coke Zero is a fountain Coke Zero, followed by a can, followed by a 2-liter, followed by a bottle. HD says, Cody, get yourself in better health. Yeah, I got to hang around for a few more years, you know. Can't be having late 30s heart trouble. That'd be bad. Joe, appreciate you joining. Engineer lost 40 pounds last year through weightlifting. Heavier weight helps shed the pounds much quicker. Yeah, my goal is if anyone cares. If you don't care, the football's probably over. We're just kind of screwing around now. My goal is the 1,000-pound club by the end of the year. And I say by the end of the year, I'm going to get there way before the end of the year. But the bench press is killing me right now. I got to get my bench press numbers up. I feel really good about my squat, and I feel really good about my deadlift, but I got to get the bench press number up. I'm going to get to 1,000 here pretty soon. So 375 on the bench press, 295 on squat, and 185 on the bench press. And I got to get those numbers up. But we're hitting the gym, working out, going to lift heavy, hit the 1,000-pound club, and then kind of transform it, do a lot more cardio, and get in better shape. I got to get the amount of oxygen that I can roll through out of my, got to get that up. Whatever it's called, the O2 or something like that meter. Sounds like they were going for creamsicle and failed. Kind of. Actually, I bought zero sugar Dr. Pepper and threw them away. I actually like zero sugar Dr. Pepper. Regular Dr. Pepper, too much for me. Too sugary. I've also been drinking the zero and the diet drinks for 20 years. Whatever it is. Not 20 years, but a long time. Panda says cream soda A&W is the greatest soda of all time. Not my favorite, but if you like cream soda, you might like the cherry Coke or the orange cream Coke. Channel giveaway of the ones I didn't. Cody, give us a weight goal for this week. How much you trying to lose? I want to lose. For the year, 50 plus, but I've lost 20 or so already. Dream no little dreams. I'd like to lose when it's all said and done. I'd like to be in a different century of weight, So look at this guy. 20 miles a week because of track. I eat like chicken nuggets and whatnot. Yeah, so the one thing you do notice, if you work out hard enough, you can be a little bit looser with the diet. You still got to dial it in. But, if you're working out, you can sneak a little cheat on the meal every now and then. Cody will mail 11 winners a can of Coke Zero Orange Cream. If I thought they wouldn't explode in the mail, I probably would do this. But I feel like they'd explode in the mail. And then the mail people be all mad. You guys be all mad. A&W from the tap is even better. Man, I haven't had a tap A&W in a long time. Brandon says, I wish we had all the cool American drinks you guys get up here in Canada. So many different flavors. So does Brandon have the cool drinks in Canada or not have the cool drinks in Canada? I can't figure it out. Lucid says, making me mad. Click on one of the dollar signs. Just give me the option of super chat and stickers. Click on the link in the description, Lucid. That may be a better way, easier way to do it. I'm sorry. I don't know what it looks like on the back end for you guys. King Cap and Trade said it's too flux while we're waiting on Kirk ink to dry. He's got to combat the high blood pressure from dealing with Landry somehow. Esco with some form recommendations. Yeah, I like my. I think I'd put my deadlift form up against almost anybody. Compare a flavor soda to Cayenne Fairbairn. No, thank you, Don from New Jersey. DeRhino, a little something towards replacing those sodas you don't like. DeRhino, I appreciate you, man. You're very generous. You're very kind. You've been a long-time supporter of the channel. And when Kroger goes buy 2, get 2 free, I feel like it's a pretty good deal. So I loaded up on that when that happened. So DeRino, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Stoots first locker combine numbers. I mean, that ain't. He's got better long distance running and speed, but I beat him in the weightlifting. He's probably still got better agility. Although I don't know, the knees are going on Mr. Locker. Yeah, deadlifting's my favorite. I love deadlifting. Back in when I was really in it, I did 485 one time. I had one of those. I nearly got passed out, but it was fun. Coke never strays too far from tasting like Coke. Yeah. Yep. HD, hell yeah, Cody, show that fat who the bully is. I got a lot of fat to bully, too. Go train with Indomitian Sue. Berkeley likes Poppy. Oh, yeah, Tay. They have VO2 max. That's what I was talking about. Max out the incline, put the speed at 3. If you want to see Cody fall off the treadmill, do that. Do that. Nutrition's key. You lost 10 pounds with your haircut and a shave. Yeah, I did have a lot of hair. Don't know who this guy is, but he's getting put in timeout. Review less oxtails. Is that a rodeo thing? Yes, there will, Mike. Will there be an angry Cody emoji? Yes, there will. I will probably pull it from the offensive line coach argument because I know my face got very red. So I will get an angry Cody emoji, and I will add that to the emoji list for the members. Lucid Illusions is in. Thank you, Lucid. Appreciate you. Juan asked about free agency defensive tackle. Rankins would be nice. Jaron Reed from Seattle would be fun. And so would, who's the other guy's name? Poona Ford would be fun, but I don't know if he totally fits what the Texans do. Gosh, there's another defense. I just wrote about him last night, too. Jaron Reed. Sebastian Joseph Day. Yeah, Sebastian Joseph Day. From the Titans. I like Sebastian Joseph Day. I'd sign him in addition to Rankins and some other guys and then still draft a guy. What's your heat against DeAndre Hopkins coming back? I just don't feel like he's a very good football player for what he might cost and the investment, and I just don't know if he's as good as you need. Who's this woman making you work out? Yeah, no, I'm doing it for myself. Doing it for myself. There's an angry Cody emoji every episode of SNL. Well, then maybe we'll constantly update it, or maybe we'll have multiple angry Codys. Eric wants Tate Ratledge from Georgia. Don't hide your food reviews from us normies, Cody. No. To be clear, the food reviews will always be in one of the videos for everybody to watch. I'm just going to separate out all the food reviews and drop them into a different playlist for people who are members. The food reviews will always be out there for the folks. What do you think about trading for Elton Jenkins and drafting North Dakota State guard at 25? I'm all in on Gray Zabel. As far as Jenkins from the Packers, I don't really want to send out too many draft picks. They got 6. I don't really want to send out too many draft picks. So the Taco Bell drink. What Taco Bell drink? Ken to Hitman. HG Traveler wants to know if Landry's going to be on SNL later today. So he has a bum appointment at 2. And we'll see if he makes it at 4. Yeah, this sounds awful, but it definitely worked. Look, I know a lot of dirty weight loss secrets from wrestling back in the day. I can throw on 4 layers of clothes, go sit in the sauna for 30 minutes, and then with the best of them. But I'm trying to get it off, keep it off. Trying to get the weight off, keep it off, so nobody clips that in the wrong way. How about a Frank Ross sticker? I'll see what I can do on that. See what I can do on that. Yeah, I wanted to stop worrying about the kicker. They just score touchdowns. Who do you think they get at 25? If a defensive tackle falls to him, I feel like they'll take him. You think they'll be in on Jonathan Allen? Might be too expensive. Maybe Landry will be audio only like Strausser. Weightlifting competition, SNL, whoever loses drinks a gallon of that bone broth Landry was sipping on. Well, if it's lifting weights, I'm going to beat Landry. But he would say that's not fair. And he'd want to do like some agility stuff, and then he'd beat me. Mike says, need the weight gain tips. Been the same weight for years no matter what. Sauces are great hidden calories. So ranches, barbecue sauces, Chick-fil-A sauce, like great hidden calories. Put some extra calories on your situation. Would signing Lockett and drafting Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State still be a possibility? Yeah, absolutely. They still need an outside guy. Christian Kirk takes care of the inside. They need an outside guy. So, yeah, it's absolutely a possibility. And Egbuka can do a little bit of both. Panda says not going to be ready to get on a stream. He may not be. If not, you'll get me again at 4 o'clock. Traden says don't fall down that Ozempic rabbit hole. So I've had a fun is the wrong word. I've gone like back and forth on my weight. Like I've been super heavy as a kid, lost a bunch of weight. Then wrestled, then got fat in college, lost a bunch of weight after college when I was at 6'10", got fat again, lost a bunch of weight again, got fat again. So I yo-yo. The hard work is worth it. Like eating right, getting and doing your exercise, going out there, like it's worth. Like you feel very accomplished at the end. And some of these Ozempic nightmare stories, I can't, not for me. So if I lose the weight, I'll tell you if I cheated. Familiar with Raheem Sanders? Curious what you think about him. How do you feel about taking him or Tootin from Virginia Tech? So Raheem Sanders, South Carolina, right? Yeah, South Carolina. Rocket is the nickname. Ran a little slower than people thought at the combine. Solid player, late round guy. Bayshall Tootin, one of the fastest guys at the combine from Virginia Tech. And Tootin was flying, man. And the Texans talked to him. Mid-round investment in him, could certainly see that happening. From what they do nowadays, tell Landry to say pause, no Diddy, and he should be good. Cody, James Harden, Stoots. I've fluctuated more than Harden. Let's see, a couple more. We'll wrap it up, and we'll see you again at 4. I like Isaac Tesla from Arkansas late too. Yeah, Dylan, he's one of my favorites. He could be a guy that can help you right away on special teams and then maybe on the back end of that wide receiver room as well. Good Senior Bowl. Had a nice combine as well. Tesla is a nice player. Small D2 school up in Michigan, then goes to Arkansas. I like him. I like the safety from South Carolina too. Yeah, Nick Minowari is awesome. Traden asks, how tall are you? 6'1". And it's a real 6'1". It's not a dating profile 6'1". It's a real, honest-to-God 6'1". Nick C. Rice pasta chicken, a lot of not barbecue. I'm telling you, on top of what you already eat, put a bunch of sauce on crap because it adds hidden calories, and it's not like volume that you have to worry about. Put syrup on dessert. Put chocolate on dessert. If you're eating rice, put like green salt, like avocado salsa on it. Avocado sauce, like avocado, avocado-based sauces on it. Like you add calories. And chicken, you don't want chicken. You want to put on size. You want freaking beef. You want calorie-dense stuff. Well, then you're on your way, Mike. I don't know. What's your secret? The no weight loss diet with Mike. All right. We'll be on SNL at 4 o'clock with or without Landry Locker. We'll talk more about Shaq Mason, some of the other stuff, some of the thoughts coming out of Christian Kirk and the trade for him as well. So be ready at 4 o'clock for SNL on the SNL channel. That link to that channel is in the description down below. You can also get in on the memberships down below for the channel if you'd like. I'm going to have some fun stuff planned for them. Engineer Funny, Central Time. It's always Central Time. I have to only speak in Central Time to Landry because he doesn't understand time zones. What else? 4 o'clock. SNL. You don't want to miss out on it. And we end the live streams the same way each and every time. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.